This is the Take Your Turn 2022 tournament hosted by Groove of War. Groove of War hosts Wargroove commentary and analysis, a link to their channel in the description. Take Your Turn is composed of 3 events, Wargroove, Chess, and Go, and on this channel, we're primarily looking at Go. My name is Arnfasta. This commentary is aimed at newer players, players in the double-digit Q ranks. If you do spot any mistakes, things we missed, things you were thinking about, just leave them in the comments and let us know. Today, we're going to be looking at the round of 8 game 1 between Saykoya playing Saykoya playing black and Just Your Eventual Ruler playing white. We have a special guest today, Zeronix. Zeronix, thank you for joining us.
Hello, it's great to be here. I newly picked up the game of Go, really hoping to learn and do better.
Excellent. And then today we have our usual co-commentator, Just Your Eventual Ruler. Hey, Ruler.
Hello, I have also kept Infasta dark for this one. As my master plan to make this more interesting, for Saykoya, the only person watching, I forgot to upload. I'm sorry.
You've kept me in the dark, I think, and Zeronix may or may not join in today, but if Zeronix obviously. If there's anything that catches your eye, you've got questions, please feel free to jump in to interrupt. Don't feel like you have to raise your hand or anything like that. It's definitely very free form. And I am curious to see. I got to see some of the comments in the chat, the chat log in Discord, but I haven't seen the game, so I'm really curious to see how this pans out. Ruler, will you take us through it?
Okay, very very simple start. Hey, look, I didn't go with my normal opening. I didn't pass the first turn. I'm taking this seriously.
Okay.
I'm taking the Swiss seriously, guys. If I pass against you here, there's something wrong. But I think it's notable to say that I did use a 3-3 point here, and this is mostly because I felt like fighting. I felt like fighting because we didn't have a bunch of time, and I wanted the game to end quick. Whenever you use the 3-3 point, it offers you stability to actually go invade elsewhere because you actually don't have to respond to anything directly because you're just locally alive. Whereas the 3-3 or the 4-4 point, you're not. You can be invaded, and you have to worry about that at pretty much all times. So this is just an easier thing to do if you want to fight because there's less to worry about.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. What did you feel when Saykoya immediately played like a 4-4 point?
Right.
Generally you do have to respond here, just so both players get a good local result. But like you just do the Joseki, and you almost always come out with Sente. So because of that, or you have the choice to come out with Sente. You can also have the choice of finishing the Joseki, which will often also lead you with Sente. Which this is not. This is actually not the right way, generally speaking. I don't know why I didn't. For review, I really forgot the Joseki part. This is the normal move, and traditionally white will actually not come this way. White will probably first come this way, and then black should make this shape. Because if you make just like copy of the knight's move, this is actually bad shape for black and good shape for white, especially since this cut is actually very massive. So you want to avoid that as black, and instead just extend out far, build the center, and then let white do what they want. And then to finish the Joseki, the move is right here, and black does the same thing on the other side. So white gets the corner, black gets outside influence and pretty big development, and white comes out with Sente.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, this move. You do this when you want to force the direction. It is a move, like it's a special case move. It is a move you can play under very special circumstances. This is not the correct circumstance because, as you can see, or I like when Arnfoster uses squares for white stones, so we'll use a square. The marked stone is actually a white stone, so you'd be building into a white stone, which is not particularly helpful. And anyways, there's more as you can see in the other variation, we had a lot stronger development, at least for black. It looked much more promising.
I was going to ask about that. So with the R5 play by Saykoya, it also feels like it also seems like it would be a lot stronger if you had extra supporting stones in the area. By trying to Hane with R5 and only having the Q4 stone, it feels like you're also, I mean, you're obviously opening the cutting point at Q5, but you're also, it feels like white still has that whole left hand side to run at the moment, and it feels like you're opening as black, it feels like you're opening yourself up to, you're sort of inviting extra weaknesses into that space. I don't know if that feels accurate.
Yeah, you definitely have a choice to just play the crosscut here, and that's not good for black. This is a good crosscut for white, since either direction you go from the stone is open space, and you're going to have a weak stone if you strengthen one side. So because of that, that's not really a variation you want to go into, especially since you're playing 3 3 points. So you actually do want to have the outside, letting white just not only cut you, but start to gain outside influence by attacking you is really good for them. I didn't play this, I don't think. I think I wanted to be more solid, so I turned. This preserves ice phase, pretty much guaranteeing that I'm alive, and will almost definitely give me Sente, because this just makes the crosscut too strong.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Actually, the standard response to this is not to do this. The standard response would actually be to
Connect.
connect, completing the full triangle. And this is just because it's a solid shape. If you wanted to really stay ahead, you could think about doing the tiger's mouth on this side. Though this is Sente. And then white's ahead again, right? So it's probably better to just do the turn.
You mean ahead in the pushing race?
Yeah, so if black wants to push, you'll push, and you're making fourth line territory. And if you feel like you have enough liberties, you can always just Hane.
Yeah.
So Saykoya's intention then was to try to stay ahead then, but leaves the vulnerability and the weakness on R5 on black's R5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I take what?
It seems that actually, if you cut right now, you can capture the cutting stone in the ladder. Is that correct?
Which one?
The ladder from
the two?
Q6.
Ladder from Q6.
Yeah.
Q6. There's Q4. Oh, my stones. That's what I want.
Right. If you start we're saying if you start the ladder now, that you'll be able to.
You can get a free move. You'll get a free move on the outside, and then they have to spend a move to actually capture this. So, for example, I can take this, and then I get this.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I can go approach someone else. It's a free move on the outside that helps me make life easier.
Mm-hmm.
And if they just want to extend, this is a very good cutting stone.
Yeah. And if they just capture the one stone like that, it's not extremely efficient because they spent an extra stone. Really. But if it was just a Ponuki, it would be a good shape. But with that extra stone there, it's not a good shape anymore.
Well, with the extra stone, it's fine. But the big issue is that it's not really impactful yet. It has influence, but it's not like it's directly influencing another group right now. And so because of that, I don't really have to worry about it too much until a center battle fights, and then you have to start thinking about where is the opponent's influence, right?
You don't have to worry about it, but once you as white play this Q5 stone, Saykoya needs to respond, right? You can't you can't Tanuki and just ignore this, which does allow you to follow up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, black does respond. And the computer doesn't like my move, and I agree with it. This is premature. I did want to keep the stone alive, but it was probably better to just take a big move rather than something like this, which is useful, but
You could
I
wait
can
and
do
it.
later. Yeah, I can
Right.
wait till bigger things are off on the board. Because if, let's just say, I do this, and black really wants to kill the stone. Well, I got a side. Let's go. You know? So
Makes
because
sense.
of that, the computer actually recommends finishing the Joseki like this. It just puts a lot more pressure, and it actually does threaten to really make pulling out the stone dangerous with the move like black's move. So let's say black just encloses. If white gets, I think it's this move. Uh, this is like scary, or even this.
Right, starts to.
Even if you
lot more
can
threat.
just threaten a bunch of stuff. You can't push because you're self-Atari, and then you actually ladder. In this case, you can actually get away with the ladder, but it's actually a pretty good result for white, I would say.
Yeah, seems like a lot of bad RG left over.
Yeah, black still needs a turn to pull this out. Black's shape is really thin. You can actually start considering some ladder breakers like this if you ever need to. Um, so it's
And it
not a great
seems
result
that
for black.
and white has gone out into the left side, whereas originally black could have blocked off the left side and had something
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
And
that's
they
a good
actually,
point.
that's actually Katago's preferred move to just flat out block it. Um, this is probably a variation I'd play, I think. And then black has a bunch of options. If they wanted to fight, they'd do this. If they want to try and kill me, they would do this. And there's a whole. You can't actually kill me here because you would have to encroach on the space with 5, and that leaves a cutting point that you have to fix.
Could
So
you at least go? Could you at least pull down with 3 to force 4 and then hit with the what you tried to do, or you also showed the variation where you come with like an H3 to both
okay.
cut off the 2 stone and to really try and like rather than go all the way through with 5 because of the point you're making that you would
Oh,
lose center.
so just if you just drop down,
Do you think it's worth it to try and drop down first? And if you were looking to still approach from the left side, do you think it makes sense to try to drop down first on the right and
well, I mean,
then
you'd just be
follow up?
giving me more points. That's the thing. If you just if you're saying like, hey, black is this, right?
Oh,
Not
so
only is this,
yeah, go ahead.
so this is kind of mediocre shape, and I'm just making easier eye space. Though, so if black plays that, you'd actually probably have to play this.
Right.
Which is a little sad looking, but then it reverts to this, which I think I actually did. Yeah, this reverts to this, which is actually alive. It would normally be a bent 4 in the corner, but in this case, you have 2 outside liberties, so you're actually alive.
Hmm.
It's one of those weird cases, but or is it? I think it's co. It's co for life. No,
Oh,
it's
it's
alive.
Oshi
It is
Tsubushi.
alive.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
alive.
you right, so you can make 2 eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
Oshi
It's
Tsubushi, if anyone wants to know the name for
yeah.
this.
So normally, bit 4 in the corner is dead if you don't have enough outside liberties because let's say black has the extra one. It's a co, but it's co that white can't start. So black is the one who starts it, and you're assuming that there's no more co-threats on the board whenever this is played, because if there is a co-threat, then this potentially lives, right? So if there's no more co-threats on the board, or co-threats that can't be removed from the board, then this is dead unconditionally because black starts the co, and then there's nothing white can do. However, in this variation, we have 2 liberties, so we are able to squeeze the stones, and they can't kill us while we do it. So, goodness, Spin 4 is complicated. I did a whole thing yesterday about it because I was doing puzzles, right? And Ben 4 came up a lot during it, so.
I think
on the other, this is also a variation that lives.
Right.
Simply.
I think one of the things I'm curious
that was
about,
a lot clearer.
not to belabor the point, but you also had or briefly talked about the possibility of approaching from the left hand side, right? Using the start point at d4 to pressure to kind of extend your influence and really put extra pressure on the m3 stone. And the variation you had, it was you had black play still extend downward with p3, and then white plays 2 with l3, and then black comes in and approaches from the other side at I think like h3.
So are you saying like a variation, something like, playing on this wrong one? There you go. Something closer to like this.
Right. So I think what I'm asking is in the earlier version, you opted to not extend down one more time with 3 and immediately pressure from the left hand side. And I'm wondering about what you just showed, which is to extend downward first once more before approaching from the other side. If you feel like if that's too slow.
In that variation, yes, it'd be better to take the Sente moves. I was just showing moves, man.
Okay. Well, no, because there's definitely
yeah, you're
times
right.
we've
You're
talked
absolutely
about.
correct. Yeah, you're absolutely correct that black should take the extra influence. The issue does become that you're making the stones heavier.
Right.
So you have to be confident that you'll be getting the 3 stones out, which it's possible right now. So let's just do a mock. Ooh, not right there. Right here. Well, black can try and do something like this to get out.
Yeah, that's a nice jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, it splits the 2 groups. So you basically would have to read saying, yeah, is this good for black right now? And it looks like it is, especially if you had the let's say the Pincer stone over here. However, white does have the chance to both lean on this or lean on this or separate. Because if black tries to separate right now, so it's actually, if black tries to separate right now, tries to cut, you're just winning the cut, right? You sacrifice the 1 stone and get out. That's what I would do. The issue becomes that black is now has a strong group versus your weak group, but your weak group is basically out. You're ahead of their groups, and you can start attacking this side, right? Now that you have more influence. So something like this would be very strong. And it's pretty close to optimal. And it looks like black just has a stupid stone now.
Right at J3.
Yeah, so the continuation would probably be like this. Right? And then come up maybe. Be aggressive, start a fight, basically. That was that was a detailed reading into a move that a move order I didn't consider, which is this one. But yeah, for the most part, this is I just take the time because the move that they actually played, which is this, is a little bit slack in terms of anything around my corner, right?
Right.
So
it's
I
not
take
a
the time
direct threat.
Yeah,
Right.
so I take the time to take something pretty big, and I see what choice they want to make. They want to pincer the stone, so guess what I do? Counter pincer. I just want to fight this game. That's it. They have too many weak groups, and I don't really care about the weak group near the start point right over here because, well, even if it gets like quote unquote captured by capping it on top, this is not even dead. There's still this invasion.
Right. Or you could just play the 3/3 and
and 3/3 and like sacrifice it. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So
good thinking.
It doesn't even matter. What I'm really trying to do is get this stone to be less pressured by attacking these stones. So I think this is, even though the computer hates it, I like it. I think this is natural if you want to fight. And then he does this. Now, I have things to say about this. The first one is that I told Saykoya this is a thing you can do. However, this is actually probably not a good result for black here. At least with how they played it. The normal response is actually to play under. And the
Right.
reason you play under is that you connect on the opposite side that white plays. So in this case, if white wants to try and disconnect black, so I think I actually have a variation written out. Yeah. So black will try and disconnect. You would target from the top, white connects, black connects on top, and then basically white tries to make a small living group. And black has two major cuts, which is the trade-off, right? But
Right, but you end up on the outside.
yeah, you end up on the outside in the correct direction.
Right. So the first stone is actually a sacrifice stone that you're just gonna play it to force your opponent to capture it. Then you're gonna connect on the other side while they're busy capturing it.
Yeah. I think the big issue though is that white can just choose to play like this, which actually threatens. So generally, you're split here, right? I think it's a losing capturing race in this case. No, it isn't.
Wait, what if we
Magic.
went? Wait, hold on. What if we went back and at this point, what about the
So at this point,
yeah, what about J2 for black?
J2, well, you've not really accomplished terribly much, I would say. I can take this, and if you decide to extend, I can take it again. And you'll extend, and then... Or, what? Is it stronger to just try to do this? It might be. Lean on this first, right? Try to keep them separated, and then... Oh, look! My stone is dead. I've connected in Sente. Right?
That makes sense.
You would have to tend to the corner, but you've traded a very small life for outside influence, basically. Pretty thick outside influence, actually. So that's I don't consider this to be amazingly good for black, since black is the one who, if you can see, wants more outside influence. Especially since these two stones are going to be annoying. And these stones are just very thick. You can't really kill them. So, or kill them outright, I should say. Yeah. I think something similar in the game happens. They fix the cut, which is also a threat, but that's probably a more direct threat, actually. So let's say black does this. You cut here, take this, these stones are looking scared.
Right. Getting forced down.
This is actually, I'm pretty sure, just dead because you get to net them. So let's say black closes.
Yeah.
So what happens? So what ends up happening in the game? So you go ahead and you counter pincer.
Ooh, wait, variations. Uh-oh. This is just a variation. Uh-oh.
Buried in the variations.
Yeah, we're buried in the variation, guys. We're lost. Anyways, yeah, this is a different variation where white can we did this one. White can actually win this side. White's actually pretty versatile here. But this is what happens in the game. He plays on top. And then I cut this way. And this is actually normal until I play this. And I'm presenting a problem to black. Normally, this white stone right here, that's at L3, isn't that important to me. In fact, I'm trying to sacrifice it. So, by putting pressure on multiple groups at once while doing this, I'm basically getting black to make some uncomfortable decisions. And they have to choose. So they choose to try and capture both stones, which actually means that my L3 stone's actually alive now, because they're going to want to capture this stone instead. But I choose to separate the group.
Right.
And
Oh,
this is mean.
This just feels such like a terrible squeeze to play on your opponent. It's like it's so painful for your opponent.
It is
Squeeze
very
this way.
yeah. This is just so painful. And then this move, and I think you'll see the plan here. You're gonna squeeze the opponent to get as much outside influence as possible, and then oof, this
That's
is
rough.
not fun. And then they play this, and I agree with the idea behind this, but there's bigger issues.
I felt like they really had to jump out, or the whole group would be under threat. You know, those
Yeah.
3 stones you can kind of give them up, but like losing the whole group there is really big.
Yeah. They play this, and then guess what? Guess what move that they play next?
Oh no! Why did you say it like that? Why did you say it like that? Clearly, they would play. Are they not? Are they not gonna play Q5?
No. Unlock your inner double-digit Q. Okay.
They're playing O2 because they want to
If it was
try.
me, I would probably try to squeeze at N6. Oh wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, Foster is exactly correct. They blundered it by accident, and unfortunately, this is a game over. Like on the spot.
That pretty much looks like all your groups are separated now, and this kind of looks over.
Yeah, I just have to play a solid game and I win. So that's the unfortunate part about this game. This game was never in Saykoya's favor after this. But I think it's still an interesting game because there's interesting variations coming aboard.
Okay.
I ladder this. I'm pretty sure this is a working ladder. Let me. Oh, it's not a working ladder.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
But it doesn't matter because if they extend, I connect. So.
Right. And
this is still a weak.
That looks like another
squeeze
group coming up on the left side.
Yeah, it's just a weak group by weak group, and if I can just keep making weak groups, I'll make profit on the right side.
Right.
So, they invade the 3-3. Okay, I chewed you out for this in one of the other reviews. What direction would you play here, Zero?
Oh, I would try to like keep the right side because you already have all that other stuff on the right side. So if you
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And I play the Sente variation. And then Robot loves me. Robot thinks I'm a genius for playing this.
Suck it up to the AI.
I mean, that makes sense because.
Yeah.
Sorry. Because the right side is so much. Because the right side is so much bigger than normally, so it's worth it to like stop the Joseki early to ensure that you have it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's well said.
It's also important to not get attacked too, especially if I'm gonna I basically like usually when you play these bigger ones, you're choosing to I'm replacing if you play the normal one here, for example. Let's say you're saying that you're gonna squeeze this to be very small. You're not afraid of any sort of like possible invasions at 1, 2, 3, or 4. Like you're just not afraid of those. You're like, oh, I can't be attacked. What are you talking about? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So normally, when you are afraid of that, you play a Sente variation, like I do.
Right. To give you that extra move to really
be
able to lock it down.
I don't really care if Black takes this cut. Let's go back. Ooh, sorry. Spoilers for the cool move. I don't like it when... I don't really care if Black takes this cut because, well...
Right, because you have so much... Yeah. Your stuff is so much bigger than theirs. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Or even, this is probably a bigger move at this point. To work on this side, because if they try to double Hana, you can double Hana back. It should be fine for you. right?
Yeah, I
And
mean
then they
that
have 2 weak groups.
that
And
still
then
looks
you can
nice.
lean. And this looks not good for black.
Right. And by starting lower, you really limit their possibilities of that center.
Yeah, always read the double Hane, guys. It's the scariest variation. But yeah, basically I can take a big move. I don't have to respond to this. So I've basically got Sentei to play this move for free, and I probably want to jump out now or invade sometime soon somewhere. So, we'll go to the move I played. Do either of y'all know this move? One of you guys should say yes.
The submarine attack. The
I'm
submarine
surprised
invasion.
Zero was the one who said
Yeah,
yes.
Zero was quicker.
Because I taught Arnfosta this after, or during a game review actually,
Yeah.
that this is a variation that you can play. Generally, it goes like this. You can't wedging is a possibility, but it's complex and it doesn't always give you the result that you want. So generally, people play this, and then you just make a quick extension. And this does nicely to de-emphasize the cut. The cut is no longer as big because, well, look, you're starting to get into white's area, right?
Right.
So
So the potential for black is gone in that area now.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But that's
And I think it's important to note why I don't like the normal move here, and it's because kick, or actually just any pincer in general. High pincers are really not fun here. But we'll say kick and then a 3-space high pincer. This actually emphasizes the cut. Because if they cut, let's say I jump. If they were to cut now, you can see how this gets not fun for
Right.
white.
right.
So black gets to make territory very naturally as a result of this sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. See, this is also a way to cut. I think I showed a similar one. This one's a safer variation. It's also strong. White would normally cap here, right? And then this is actually good timing for black to kick. And then they not only made points on the top, they're starting to make points on the left, and this game would get hard for me basically. I think right now would have to be the only time I have to actually play here, and I have to play here. So it's going to be juggling several groups. Now this is weak, but black can. You can't really separate the top group. The top group is actually safe, so black would probably separate right here, and then you start to see the issues, right? You're gonna have too many weak groups, and it's just not good.
You mean for white, right?
Yeah, for white.
Yeah.
This is not a good position for white. This is like you had disaster at the start of the game, but it looks like you're making it back, you know. If you didn't want to kick the stone, I think I suggested this. And this is because if you don't kick there's more space for white to really work with, so you need a tighter pincer. And then at least with a 2-space high pincer like this, you're actually trying to get outwards influence. You have to realize that your goal here isn't really to kill the marked stone right here. It's to either create another weak white group you can attack so that you profit on the side, or gain influence on the top. So let's say white slides, you can do something like this. And as you can see, it's going to be very, very difficult for white to run out this way now. And going diagonal here is also troublesome because of the black influence over to the right sides. So because of that, it becomes tough for white to actually save their stone. And what that means is that white will probably eventually going to want to invade, and then, or actually no, that's not the variation. Black plays this. Yeah, this is a little bit weird because normally you have a stone that's not this far at H3 instead, but I think this is probably still fine.
Yeah.
But either way,
so
as you
big.
can see, this looks huge. This looks big enough to rival what white has made, right?
Right, and then
And
you'd have to invade it or
yeah,
reduce.
Right.
yeah. It'd actually probably be better to do something like this. Like, actually, Tengen might be a good move here. Surprisingly, because you're threatening to come in, right? And you're also kind of building your area. It's not great at both, but it's doing both, right? And if black wants
That
to
seems,
staunchly defend, right?
yeah. I was gonna say that seems like a very conservative reduction. I probably would have gone in further, like maybe 1 or 2 lines deeper than that. If you wanted to reduce.
White has more points. White wants to build. White wants to build more since they have more points. So basically, you can count this up by, we're gonna say this group and this group are the same. There's undefined points at the bottom. Top is looking to probably, it's undefined, right? This group is probably going to have some points. So we'll cross this out and we'll give those points equal to the bottom points right here. And it's gonna be if this area is bigger, like plus we're gonna give a little bit extra right here. We'll just say this happens, is bigger than this area. Because that's really all you can actually expect from this group. This is really complicated, but I'll simplify it. If this group now is bigger than white's group, plus a little bit for white. White has better influence over the middle, so white's probably going to get a few extra lines of actual territory, right? So it's a judgment call. Do you think white is better here or not?
Yeah, I guess it is something that you have to judge by counting and
Yeah. And
approximating.
anyways, it actually probably might just be better to even be more conservative, right? Just be like, hey, I have all of these stones, right? You still have to fix your problems, right? But let's say they fix one problems, or what? Oof. Let's say they fix one problem. Okay, now I'm going to invade, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that also makes sense.
I think it's definitely deceptive. The size of the
And
white
this
group
also
for me is a little
like
deceptive.
captures that one stone in the ladder, but sorry.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, that's true. You have ways to to get in here, right? Yeah, Zero mentioned that is actually pretty good. That it also happens to capture the ladder. You need a move that I wouldn't say you need a move that captures the ladder, but capturing the ladder is something that helps you. Because it just limits your opponent's options, right? So either way, I think the idea here is that white feels like they have a bigger territory, and you also have to include Komi, right? I think that's also I forgot to mention Komi. White has Komi. White should, in theory, not really have to invade at this point, but they have the choice to make their game easier.
Right. I like the style of the play here where you're trying to just remove your opponent's big threats, like the cut and the trying to run away from the ladder. So by removing those, like it feels like black really doesn't have anything they can use to make a comeback.
Yeah. Okay, we got lost again, and now we're back. So basically, they Tanuki the submarine invasion and do this, and I don't think this is a good idea. I think this is actually very bad.
It seems like too deep in the Moyo.
It's less that it's too deep inside the Moyo, more so that there's too much white influence in this area.
Right, so it's too deep inside them.
Well, as we saw in the other variation, Black Moyo was huge, but it had a pretty significant invasion problem if Black doesn't play there, right?
Right.
If Black tries to play the front, you'll play on the inside, and if they play on the inside, you'll play on the front. It's too big of a Moyo to actually defend all of it. Whereas this one, this has more than enough influence to actually defend the inside. So because of that, it's not really viable.
Yeah. Like if you wanted to play low inside the opponent's Mono, you'd be trying to make a stable extension and then live inside. But
Yeah.
it's not possible to do that here. There's no space.
Right.
Yeah. So white does this in response. What are y'all's thoughts on this?
Let's see.
Did you guys think this was as big as I thought it was?
Um, let's see. I guess, well, we have to compare it to the local follow-up. If you were to just, not do this and respond on the right instead, it would be like a capping move. And probably Black would just not continue that if they were playing optimally and treat it as, okay, I've made you do something here and I can do other stuff now. So I guess this is you saying, I don't think that Blackstone is really a threat, so I can just do something else that's big and see how you continue. And once you make it heavy by like extending or something, then I'll attack it.
Right. This is actually urgent. If Black doesn't get another stone here, so let's say Black just la-di-da-di-da-de-do. This is dead. This is basically a dead stone.
Yeah.
It's both big and urgent. Black does actually have to respond. So because of that, I'm saying you don't actually have the time to make any of these groups on the right resurrected because you'd be giving up too much in the process. So they play this move, and this is weird, but I think let's go back a second. I'm checking something.
Sure.
Okay, no, we did all the variations. Okay, so this is not good. There's multiple things to say about this. Firstly, or you had something?
Typically, you would be attaching on one of the Kakari stones here.
Yeah, I think computers really like these, though. Oof. Computers really like these, but computers also really like Kusumi here, or even just living in the corner sneakily.
Right.
So it's really just a choice. But yeah, you should do something here. This is a weird move because this doesn't really do anything except potentially undercut white. If Black somehow manages to live. There's too many weaknesses over behind the stones at these points at 1, 2, and 3, and then the 3/3 is still entirely open. So,
what do you think Saykoya's intention was in playing the b5? Those weaknesses are there. The 3/3 is still there. It doesn't really do anything to actually protect the e4 stone or the corner yet, while creating a bunch of vulnerabilities that could be exploited. What does Saykoya see, or what did Saykoya see in b5, or at least the idea of it? Was
I guess when he plays this, he's hoping for ruler to respond maybe with like b6, and then Saykoya can defend the other side, and then he'll have a living corner. But you don't. I think it's not correct to respond to b5 here.
So thinking or reading that there would be a more passive play that would then give Saykoya the time to secure the corner. That makes sense.
Thank you, Zero. You saved my butt. The dogs were barking, so I stayed quiet. I just make a base, yeah. I'm saying this corner is still dead, basically, or that you'll be running by the end of it.
And actually, that one stone is really light, because if they continue attacking it, you can just throw it away and extend again, and their whole wave is gone now.
Mm-hmm. That's a great
point. So I personally like this response to it because it's very, like he said, it's light. I actually really don't have to give it up. In fact, if they keep attacking it, I think in this case, yes, I would probably respond this way. But let's say they actually defend their corner, and I find some time to... Actually, no, they wouldn't take this exchange because it de-emphasizes cut. Let's say they cut, and then extend. Right? I have if they really want to, I'll just take the outside influence, right? Like destroy their points, right? And then I already have massive points on the side, right?
Right,
I
you've
don't
got
really
the
need to be worried about it. I need to
yeah.
be worrying about getting more power than them right now.
Right, you've got the advantage. Reductions are still very useful for you, since
Yeah,
you don't need to make up a point difference.
yeah. So either way, yeah. They end up capping, so can y'all figure out the move I played?
Let's see.
I have a
Here's
guess.
a hint, it's local. It's
Oh,
not yeah, it's a
okay.
local
Oh,
response.
okay, that helps.
Yeah, you can play
Uh,
on how many? 381 points. If I can at least make it like a 10 by 10 sphere, it's much easier.
my immediate thought would be either you play like somewhere, like try to cap that stone to see how they respond, like a probe, or you just play
Hmm.
the corner immediately.
Um, yep, take the
Yeah.
corner. And then we get into so this is something I don't understand. Okay, I think I do understand, but I didn't understand it when I played, and I probably wouldn't have found it either way. So to me, this is the correct response. But to Catago, this is the correct response. And what it's telling me is that this stone is this stone is more valuable, keeping it alive because it keeps groups weak.
Ah,
And
okay.
this group right here on the left isn't actually as weak as I thought it was. Normally, if this kind of formation happens, it's actually one eye. You can get reduced to down to one eye or Seki, because you'll usually be left with a 2 by 3 area, right? Like a six group in a corner, basically.
Right.
But it's not even that good because it's a door group, so you don't even have like this. It's different, but it's no good for white, basically. Um, so I thought this was better because, well, look at this. I'm just gaining points and influence if I build this, right? And then I can worry about getting this stone out if they don't quash it, right?
Hmm.
So we play this variation, and then they try to go for the kill.
Uh,
So
let's
the
see.
natural response here is to extend your liberties, and
Right.
then black plays this. Now I'm gonna let you two guys brainstorm on how you actually save this group, and it's pretty cool. I like the move.
You mean the white group?
Mm-hmm. White's winning
Okay.
this fight. At least on one side, they're gonna win something.
Let's see. Um, I don't know. My first instinct would be like E4, I guess. Um, but if I read it out to the end, I
Hmm.
think you're not winning the capturing race directly. You're just getting like, um, to connect up that one stone. So I don't
Right.
think.
Right. You're
So
trading.
if you do this, black will probably do this.
Right.
So you'd
Yeah.
probably do it from the other side, and you're dead.
Right. And like
Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
So you get you're trading. The
Well,
I'm
it's a bad trait. It's
oh
a bad. Oh
I
wait,
was looking at
move.
A2. I was gonna say A2 was
Dang it.
the thing I hadn't read out with A2 though. The
Oh man, come on. Why do I put so many variations? There we go. Okay, so the issue here is that you're not actually really trading it outside for the inside. You have all of these cutting points. Like, look at this cutting point. This is a bad cutting point. And then you're gonna have to you're gonna have to choose something. Basically, you're gonna be sacrificing a lot. This corner has gotten way too huge. This is not gonna
Yeah.
be a
It looks
10
that looks
point.
really
It's gonna be like a
terrible.
20
So
point.
no,
Yeah.
but like
White does come out.
like no, I mean you played out the bad exchanges for white here, but let's say you just like accepted that your three group was gonna get captured and just shored up the outside. It wouldn't look as bad as this.
That's true. If
yeah,
you did something like this and this, yeah, that's also viable, I would
yeah,
say. I agree.
that's a good point.
Um, However, you probably want to play something like this instead, but this is not forcing. That's the issue. You need something that's forcing, so you'd probably play this. Um, and then you have to fix a cut. This is probably the best way to fix. Yes, you can play. This is actually a common exchange variation too. Like this is pretty common. To make a big sacrifice on the corner to get a bunch of outside influence, and it's usually actually worth it, especially in this case.
Mm-hmm.
But I was feeling greedy, so I wanted points. So this is the move that if you want to try and live, this is the move.
Right. So this extends liberties by a lot, I guess.
Yeah. So you'll actually see. This is the first variation. White, if you try to just directly capture, white does this, and black actually loses the liberty race in either fashion. So if they tried to go here, they've actually shorted themselves a liberty, and it's a 2-3. Right?
Nice.
So if they try to, there we go. If they tried to do this, this is a cool one. You take right here. Black tries to do this. You don't want white to get out the capturing race, so you do this. And then, well, okay, if you try to kill the ice space, you do this, and white's alive. If you try to extend the liberties here, there's double co.
Ooh.
I didn't see. Okay, I didn't see the double co.
Yeah, I felt proud of myself for finding this. This is nice. And for those who don't know why this is double co, if black decides to so it's actually white's turn, so it's just if black decides to ever fill in, white gets to fill in, and this is just life.
Right.
And black probably wouldn't play this because both of the groups are dead now, but man, is it flashy.
Right.
Instead, black. What was the black actually probably should take a cut on the outside. So at some point. Basically, this basically guarantees I live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Variation here. Ah, yes. So note in this variation, black doesn't actually win because it's actually 4 liberties, 3 liberties. That spot where they don't actually have it marked is not a liberty for either of them because if either takes it, they remove one of their own liberties. So it is a spot they need to capture, but mutually they don't want to touch it. So whoever wins on the outside first wins the inside. Usually.
So you play all the external liberties first before the shared liberty. That's the rule.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that the at D1 is a liberty is that we're on the first line. So if let's say black just continually plays here, right? You can actually capture this. So you have to protect the group first.
Right.
Before you can go any further.
Right. You have to. So which gives you an extra, which gives white an extra turn to work with. Yeah.
You know, for a game I wasn't really reading in, this is the part I had to read, and I'm proud I was able to read out all of these variations within a short amount of time. So, go me. This variation doesn't work for similar reasons. I think, what's the variation? Yeah, you just extend down, black fixes. This actually wins on the spot because you actually take the co, and this isn't actually co.
Right, because you just capture.
Yep.
The B2 bomber shows its power.
Yeah, this is like the B2 bomber of power. Usually when you make the B2 bomber, something has gone very wrong. But in this case, it's a B2 bomber of power, right? So, in this variation, in the game I played this, which also works. As you can see, you just...
Yeah,
I think
this is ahead.
This is a point loss for me, actually, technically, but
like Saykoya's
I don't care. What?
But like, if you play this out, then Saykoya's play all those moves in the corner that don't do anything. So
you think, yeah, they have to play a move that gets out. They have to play like right here, right now.
Right, or else it's just captured for real.
Yeah. This is probably something that would come up. And then, oh, my group's entirely alive. I have mean moves like this later on.
Right, that you can still use. So what did Saykoya end up doing? So you have Saykoya approaches with the plays it C1, and then you
And then he does this. He realizes it's not dead, so he just
Okay.
saves the stones.
Smart. That was a good recognition on Saykoya's part.
This is funny because this just makes the capturing race easier for me. In this case, I just take the stones. I don't think they saw that. I think I think they blundered that by accident.
Yeah.
But it's not. It was already dead anyways, and I underestimated the power of this group right here. This is actually not guaranteed dead yet. I thought it was, but it's actually not.
It doesn't look healthy, but I guess there's some RG there.
Yeah, there's actually Aji because of this cut. Right here that you can abuse, or actually technically right here, and then you can lean on the stone from under.
And, yeah, and you can connect under potentially in some variations. Maybe.
So I do this, and this, even here, it's actually potentially alive. So
really
scary.
Wow. I'd like to see that actually.
Huh.
And then this is just them trying to build outward influence as well as trying to potentially score something.
Sure.
This is me building. This is them taking the cut to say, no, you can't build. And I say, I'm going to build anyways. I take this, I take this. And now they do this, which is a little peculiar because I think this is a good exchange for white. Better than normal, actually. White takes this. I actually extend here. Good timing. Black takes. I do this. And now you see the issue, right? I'm now threatening to build. I built the base in Sente, which is great. Because you don't want me to make a connection like this.
Right. So you're threatening to make a connection under.
I think, because Black would have to capture now, right? This is a short ladder, so it does capture it, but still. The only reason, if I could, I would have actually extended further, but the ladder doesn't work. For me, I don't think. Let's read it out. So it starts right here. So the pairs go like this. Oh, it does work.
For you, yeah.
But I think they get some Sente moves on the outside. So for example, it actually doesn't directly work because, so if I play this, they can play this, right? And then it becomes like a ladder fight, right? But, this I just wanted to make a base in Sente. I didn't want to get into a ladder fight. To make the base in Sente, I've threatened to. This just makes the base. I think in the game I thought it actually threatened the connection, but it doesn't.
But this is really painful for Black to have to respond like that.
Yeah, I don't think you actually have to respond. But either way, this is good. This is good result for me. This is a good result for the invasion.
Right, because the N and O17 stones are going to be dead.
They were dead either way.
Regardless.
Yeah, they were just going. Yeah, I was gonna sack them. So you having to spend this many moves to actually secure the kill, not good. And then I just play a surrounding move, destroy all your influence. It's important to actually play this far away because I don't want Black to have many cutting points. And this just is easier to deal with. So I decided to play this large knights boomerang. So we'll go into some variations. They do this invasion, and I don't think this is a good invasion. Katago suggests capping.
Sorry.
I'd like to pause actually and maybe take stock of the board as a whole. So where do you feel that Black has maybe the potential to play next after your enclosing move and finishing off the top right?
Oh, I have a bunch of moves actually. This move threatens to make the group alive. This move leans on stuff and threatens to make the group alive. This group threatens and Sente, so you can take this first. So Oh, it's actually not in Sinte, but if I want to keep a lot of points, it's Sinte.
I see.
So black, like for example, this leans, and I have a whole variation. So let's say I Tanuki this move. Black wins.
Hold on.
Huh.
So I can
Oh,
slow it down.
okay, yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
You have to cut out. White extends. Black blocks. If white tries to push, you actually get cut. So it might not be a good idea to push. Instead, go for this.
Right, and try to capture
Ooh,
those
I didn't. Yeah,
four
I didn't
black
try
stones.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems like you still capture them anyway.
Okay, so even if this doesn't live, look at all this influence, right? You can probably do mean stuff like leaning right here, or leaning on bottom instead, right? So even
Yeah,
if
you
this
can.
isn't a great exchange, this is basically urgent enough for me to respond, right?
So you just block the, I
That's
guess, descend and block the jump, right?
this is what Kataga wants to do. I don't. I'm fighting. I'm like, this is unreasonable. This is an unreasonable invasion. You have no friends. So we're taking these exchanges basically.
I mean, he has
And then
friends,
it's
but they're all the way over there on the other side.
yeah.
They're very far away.
It's very important that I'm able to block up this group, and this is exactly why I did this. And I'm just making the fight bigger, basically, by extending here, but also it helps guarantee that the 3 stones are actually dead.
A quick time check. We're at about an hour so far.
Okay. Then there's this, right? Then I take the Atari, and then my groups are safe, right? But now black is much stronger on the inside.
Right.
So I got to start worrying about these things. They're taking some hand fighting moves right here, right? And then I push for the cuts, and then I push for the cuts. This is actually how they respond is actually incorrect.
I feel like that one stone is not very important.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is the connection you need to make, because if white takes the stone, this actually gets you out unconditionally.
Very nice.
Oh wow,
yeah.
that is nice.
Yeah, because if you go this way, you have a tiger's mouth, and if you try to block, black disconnects.
Mm-hmm.
So this move is Sente, basically. So I can't take. But they take this, so I take this Atari instead, and this is just better endgame for me. As well as there's more cuts.
Right.
And then I just make sure they don't get out.
Right.
If I had to say, like, generally how the game is progressing, it just seems that black has made a lot of attacks that did not work out for them, that left behind too many weaknesses, and then they got punished for it.
Yep, that's pretty much how Saykoya plays.
Yeah. I think another thing too that Zero you pointed out a couple of times is just that I think there may be also some misreads or they've overemphasized some of the attacks on them. Like you just pointed out the L15 stone and how it was you could sacrifice it. That you didn't need to actually defend every single attack. You could sacrifice a stone or two and instead get a better move. And because Ruler is able to push those and Saykoya does try to defend everything, Ruler is then allowed to, like you're saying, exploit other cutting points and not only keep Saykoya sort of on the run here, but never allowing Saykoya to really, it feels like, catch their breath. It was nice to see them do like F15. It was nice to see them try to find a way to kind of push back and begin to build out some of that framework. It feels like it was at this point a little bit too late, and it was the board's already developed, and that white has a really strong presence in the center, even 20 moves back, relatively speaking. So it feels like some of the moves in which they've got the right intention are just coming a little bit too late, and the hand fighting kind of took over early game, and by the time black is ready to move into building that framework, white is just making it impossible.
Demolish it,
yeah.
I would like to put this cross of power into a museum. This is the strongest cross I have ever seen. goodness, look at it.
Take your choice of what you wanna, how you wanna use its power.
Yes.
Chase away the demons.
Okay. You see this? This is what I meant by this might have been alive. Uh-oh. This actually leaves too many
Wait.
weaknesses. I should have really done this to be safe, because this is just a full side, but uh-oh. Black is getting feisty down here.
I see.
They
Wait,
take
actually,
this
no, I
move.
don't.
Okay, so
Do you mean like it's alive if they win the co?
it's
Yeah,
definitely alive if they win the co, but you
right,
have the reason you have to win the co is because you get a guaranteed die. But
right.
even then, um you're the one with all the dead groups, right? So
Right.
for
So the
example,
rest of White's board is iron solid. There's no reason they should lose his co. And White
yeah,
has so many co threats everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's
yeah.
so there should be an
That's
easy
it.
co. And like even if you lose this co, it's that you
It's
didn't
not
lose
that big.
anything.
Right.
Right. It's like a flower co for you. Can
Exactly correct. So yeah, that was my mistake. I shouldn't have let this co happen. And this game turns into a bunch of codes, okay? There's a lot of codes in this game. But apparently I had some major threats later on that I missed. I play this move. Do you guys like this move or not? Your thoughts?
I guess it's trying to restrict the black, what looks like a black group living territory now on the bottom. So that's nice, I guess. I think maybe I would just try to, play a solid move that completely removes all the RG left in the right side, like
Yeah,
maybe
I agree with you.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think it is important to note that Black got this move, they get a lot more points. So I thought this was urgent enough to be like, okay, I just want all this to be Dame, and then I'll deal with the Aji later, right?
That's fair. Yeah, I guess I'm still looking at that N6 play, where it just feels like, yeah, just a little bit being able to settle a little bit more in the right center also seems enticing if you can find the time for
Yeah.
it. Trying to compare those
It
two.
feels too small right now because its influence isn't that important, considering how much wall I have now on the top. But
right.
it is a move that would get you a lot of points in conjunction with this move.
My thing would be to play at like M8 instead of the previous move, which captures that one stone in the ladder and pretty much captures the remaining 4 stones inside the territory as well.
Yeah,
And then,
I think I do something similar here. Yeah. I don't think this directly. I actually want them to come out on the ladder. Here. Why? The stones are dead. Those stones are definitely dead now. If they weren't dead before, they do not have enough life to live now, right?
right, yeah, totally.
So I'm actually trying to goat them into, hey, you can take the ladder, right? They're trying to do some fighting, and then I protect all the cuts at Tanuki, and then now I fix the stones are pretty close to not having anything, right? They actually take the ladder. They felt like the stones were big enough, and then I lean. They don't allow me to go further there, so I'm going to invade this far.
Right.
This is actually a very important lean because it tells me the direction I want to play in, right? Because I don't really know which is bigger, right? So whatever side they defend, oh, well, I go the other way, and it's a bigger side now, right? Because they invested an extra stone in defending it. And then I get this nice reduction.
Right, so it's more like a probe in that sense. You're gonna let them make one side bigger, and then you invade the bigger side.
Yep. And then a bunch of, this is mostly just reduction in hand fighting over here.
Right.
Looks like mostly endgame moves now, or
it gets a little spicy later. I don't know why, but me and Saykoya apparently have really spicy endgames.
Oh, it's because you don't remove the RG until very late.
You shouldn't remove dead stones, right? Like, you shouldn't try to kill dead stones. It's bad. But yeah.
But
there is Aji. But
if it gets spicy, then they maybe not.
I mean,
dead
it
enough.
makes it more fun. This move is actually Sente. If they ignore it, the 2 stones are captured.
Right.
And then
As far as I know, Saykoya actually never removes the Aji, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take free endgame stuff here. I'm gonna treat this as an endgame co. But
Right.
there's actually bigger things on the board. But whatever.
Yeah, I don't think amateurs really play the end game perfectly, but it really doesn't matter at this
It
level.
doesn't matter. We're in a co. I'm threatening co stuff. They take this co, and actually, this is the biggest brain co I ever played in my life, and I'm sad that I actually missed the correct follow up. Oh, okay. See what? Guess why this is a co threat.
You're going to play at R19 next.
Yes, and that kills the group.
Mm-hmm.
I had a different plan, but I looked at R 19. I'm like, oh, they'll just play Q19. Entirely forgetting there's a shortage of liberties on them.
Oh no.
Because yeah, I just didn't see that the 2 stones were just not dead yet. So the variation goes like this.
Yeah.
Right, and then
You
they have
can't
to
play here;
respond
it's
there.
dead.
Right, so
Black
you
will
have to
capture. You actually make this a false eye, and then you're just alive.
Then you can connect out, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sad I missed that. I
Only
could have
one.
had the whole world part 2.
Sequoia's just taken stone by stone in the bottom left, just fighting for every little stone.
Oh, this is a funny co, because it's a co.
I mean, I guess I understand why Saykoya is going for it.
Yeah.
They have to
I
make
missed this.
something
I'm flat out saying I missed this. But also, is this really a co for life? Bum bum bum.
Let me see.
Make it bigger. And then we're fighting a co. Yeah, this is the actual original plan I had. I have a bunch of co threats now. Remember?
Yeah, which I think basically never run out of co threats.
Zero, I think mentioned that earlier too. Just that White's position is such that the amount of strong co threats you have is way greater. So getting into these, it makes sense that Saykoya is trying to look for life wherever, but it just really has that uphill battle because they can't threaten you in the same way that you can turn around and threaten them.
No, well, the world's a switch because I have that P18 stone. So that's actually what I was using it for. I was using it to have 1 billion co threats later on, and now I have my 1 billion co threats. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but I let him capture because I noticed something.
Yeah.
What if I play right here?
You can keep it down the.
Oh, it's actually just a false one eye and a false eye now. Yeah. That's too bad.
Yeah. This is. I'm like, oh wait, I don't even have to, right? Oh goodness.
Actually, okay, hold on. Is it possible to like live in the? If you can make T1 an I.
You can't. Oh, sorry for cutting you off. You can't. So if you play this, it's a throw-in either direction.
Right, I was gonna say it requires the two. Black has to be able to play both at T2 and at S1.
And White wouldn't let you do that. Yeah, exactly. Okay, makes sense.
No, but it's a really good thing to look for because I was trying to look for that as well because it definitely gets funky in the corner there. So I think it's really smart to double check in case you can, in case you know that if you were going to make life anywhere, that would be the the place to look.
Oh, he doesn't do the connect and die. I wanted the connect and die. I wanted this to be like, I'm just getting a point.
You are too greedy.
Yada yada yada. Go play somewhere else. Haha, connect and die. Revenge. Oh.
Sequoia's too good
so badly.
Sequoia's too smart for that.
Yeah, he's too smart. He's too smart.
Good reduction.
But I'm not. I can't actually block here because it's too big.
Yeah, there's like the Aji comes back to life now, I think, if you.
Yeah.
Did Saykoya do you know if Saykoya thought the right hand corner was still alive at this point, or were they trying to run and then?
I think they thought it was alive right here until you'll see in a second. This move.
Oh, and then they
They like to nuke. Well, I block here, but then I think they realize, oh wait, right?
Oof.
And this is just clearing up, I think. Yeah, mostly. And then I'd play this move because there's a bunch of cutting points in here. So I'm like, I'm gonna go fish.
Okay.
And I got my fish. I got my fish.
You got
Honestly, I
your
would
fish.
probably just pass at this point, but you do you, I guess.
I mean, I want to fish. I want to get revenge. I don't think you understand. He got me last time. And then this
Ruler
is
is
SCG.
Ruler
Yeah,
doesn't
okay.
forget. Ruler's spiteful.
Of course, on the go board, on the go board. And then now we pass.
Oh, that is a
now,
huge reduction. Oh.
Yeah. And I mean, I go, okay, well, would you rather the reduction or would you rather me kill the top right, okay? Come on. Priorities.
All right. And so the final result was you white won by the 100 points. 100. You said 100.
I think at 108.5
Yeah.
to be exact, but a lot of points because they just had a bunch of dead groups inside of me. And it could have been one more. It could have been one more.
I think definitely want to get, as we begin to wrap up, I want to get everyone's thoughts. I'll start, and then Zero, if you can go next, and then Ruler will have you go last since you actually did the game. I think another thing I noticed, sort of in addition to some of the other comments too, was just we see this a lot we see this in all games, but in particular in the games in the tournament, I think we see this a lot where you have these end results in which one player has won by 50, 100 points, and it looks very dominating. I think a really nice thing that we were able to talk about and discuss today was that absolutely Saykoya got themselves into some situations that were dicey. That right-hand side for a long time was just in a really bad position early to mid-game. But it was good that we were able to look at ways in which there were opportunities to try to either try to bring it back, but in particular try to use those stones on the right-hand side and leverage them into bigger threats later on in the game. And just the point that Saykoya was absolutely behind and did have to try to make up ground after the early game, but there were opportunities to do it. And some of the ways in which they were setting themselves up was nice to see. The fact that I think there's some really, what looked to be small but were really critical incorrect trades that just never let them, always ended up weakening their position, and they would get further and further reduced, if not killed, was unfortunate to see. But I think that, it wasn't just a case of there was no chance for Saykoya after that initial capture. There were absolutely a lot of things that could be done, and it was nice to be able to sort of talk about those and how Saykoya might take the style that they have and just kind of try to refine it a little bit more to be able to read on whether or not they need to respond to kills, and really where the biggest move on the board is at the time. I think that there were a couple instances there where they chose not to respond, or they went for a group that was already dead, that really could have helped them if they had recognized and played and just tanuked and played elsewhere. Zero, your thoughts?
Right. I would say that one thing that may help Saykoya improve is to not think of attacking as like outright trying to kill the opponent, but attacking as a way to make profit. Because I noticed at a lot of points in the game, Saykoya was just attacking to try to cut or directly kill the opponent. But usually that's like an overplay, and you need to be significantly stronger than your opponent before you can do that kind of thing. Whereas a less severe attack doesn't leave as many weaknesses behind and still lets you get profit elsewhere. So Saykoya needs to be able to think flexibly like that, and it will probably lead to a big improvement in their game.
Great point. Ruler?
Saykoya may have won the co-fight in the bottom, but I had won the top in my heart.
So petty. So petty.
That's such a bad one to end it.
But I said Ruler could have the last thought, and if that is how Ruler would like to end it, I will honor that. That does wrap up our analysis of the game. If you're a fan of chess, Wargroove, turn-based games in general, definitely check out the Groove of War channel, where they've not only got Wargroove replays, but chess replays from the tournament as well. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Ruler, for going ahead and reviewing the game in advance, giving us the lead through. And Zeronix, thank you so much for joining us. A lot of wonderful input. And, if your time allows, would love to have you back.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable for me as well. This was a educational experience, and I hope to be part of the future instances of this.